When my uncle dragged me down the narrow passage behind the smokehouse, I begged God not to let me scream. "When you live under my roof, you follow my rules," he snarled, raising the braided switch in his hand. "And I'll beat the disobedience out of you if I must." He cracked it so close to my cheek that the wind of it burned. For years, I believed I was destined to be shaped by fear. Until the day I discovered that the only thing stronger than fear was the one thing even he could not control. My dears, before I continue, if you're here with me, please leave a little thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It helps this old lady feel heard. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from, morning, afternoon, or evening. I always love to know. Now, let me share my story. It isn't a gentle one, but it is true. And it is mine. My name is Margaret Eloise Carter, but everyone just calls me Maggie. I'm 81 years old now, living in a quiet neighborhood in Savannah, Georgia, in a little blue house shaded by magnolia trees. But I wasn't born here. I came into this world in 1960, in the swamplands outside Bayfield, Louisiana, a place where the air hung heavy with humidity and secrets. My parents were kind, simple people, my father a fisherman, my mother a quilt maker who sold blankets stitched by candlelight. We lived in a weathered cabin near the marshes. It wasn't much, but my childhood was peaceful, frogs singing at night, my mother brushing my hair by lamplight, my father whistling as he mended nets. Those were gentle days. But gentle days don't always last. I was 10 when our little boat overturned in a sudden storm. They never came home. With no close relatives except my mother's brother, Uncle Virgil, the sheriff arranged for me to be sent to his property, a sprawling pecan farm known around town as Cypress Hollow. I remember the day I arrived. The sky was an ugly orange, thick with heat, and the cicadas screamed loud enough to drown thoughts. A man named Rudy picked me up from the bus stop. He didn't speak a word to me on the long drive, he just spat tobacco out the window and kept tapping the steering wheel like he wished I wasn't there. Uncle Virgil stood on the porch when we arrived. Tall, gaunt, with a face carved from disapproval. He looked me over like a stray dog. "Your mama always was soft," he muttered. "Let's hope you don't take after her." And just like that, I understood, I wasn't family. I was a mouth to feed. A problem. A thing. That first night, I slept in a shed behind the house, a cot, a thin blanket, and a single bare bulb that flickered like it, too, didn't want to stay. The next morning, Rudy woke me before dawn. "Boss says you work here," he said, tossing me a pair of two big boots. And so I worked. Cleaning chicken coops. Hauling feed. Shelling pecans until my fingers bled. If my hands shook, if I slowed, if I hesitated, the switch would whistle through the air. "That's how you teach discipline," Uncle Virgil would say. To kids, and to creatures. And he meant creatures quite literally. Behind the barn, in a fenced enclosure overgrown with weeds, there lived a massive wild hog the locals called Goliath. He was enormous, black as pitch, with tusks like curved knives. No one went near him except Virgil, who took pleasure in breaking him, as he put it. I would hear the hog screaming sometimes. Then I would hear the switch. Then the silence. The kind that clings to your bones. One afternoon, Virgil dragged me to the enclosure. "You're scared of him," he grinned. "That's weakness. And I don't tolerate weakness." He forced me to stand by the fence while Goliath snorted, pawed the mud, and glared at the man who tormented him. "Look at him," Virgil hissed. "Even beasts learn when you beat them long enough." But I noticed something he didn't. Goliath didn't fear him. Goliath loathed him. There was a difference. Years passed like that, slow, suffocating, predictable in its cruelty. I lost count of the number of times I stood trembling beside that hog pen while Virgil lectured me about strength and obedience. Then came the night everything changed. It was late summer. Thunderstorms rolled across Louisiana, splitting the sky open. Rain hammered the tin roof like fists. I was in the smokehouse washing jars when I heard Virgil shouting. Goliath had broken a section of the fence in the storm. "Useless beast," he roared. "I'll teach you." He grabbed the switch and ran into the downpour. I followed, I don't know why. Maybe instinct. Maybe something deeper. Lightning flashed, revealing Goliath standing in the mud, free for the first time in years. Virgil lunged at him, swinging the switch wildly. But the hog didn't retreat. Another flash, and Goliath charged. The impact threw Virgil into the mud. He screamed, a raw, terrified sound I had never heard from him. And in that instant, something in me broke too. Not in fear. In clarity. I could have called for help. I could have distracted Goliath. I could have saved the man who had hurt me for so long. But I didn't move. I just stood under the rain, shaking, watching the storm reclaim what it was owed. When it was over, Goliath limped into the marsh and disappeared into the reeds, swallowed by the wild. He was never seen again. I told Rudy the fence had broken in the storm, that Virgil slipped, that the hog panicked. Everyone believed it. No one looked too deeply into the death of a cruel man. With Virgil gone, the farm passed to a distant cousin who didn't want a child to care for. And so I was sent away again, but this time, to kindness. A neighbor woman, Miss Evelyn Parker, took me in. She taught me to sew, to bake, to smile again. She helped me finish school. She helped me live. And eventually, she helped me leave Louisiana for good. Life blossomed after that, slowly, carefully. I married a kind man, Arthur. We had 2 daughters. Then grandchildren. And 8 years ago, I lost Arthur, but not the love he left behind. Today, I spend my mornings tending my garden and my afternoons stitching quilts by the window. From there, I watch the world pass peacefully, bicyclists, children, the mailman, the slow drift of seasons across the magnolias. And sometimes, when the wind moves just right through the trees, I think of Goliath. The creature everyone feared. The one who could not be tamed. The one who, without knowing it, freed me. I don't hate Virgil anymore. But I don't forgive him either. Some things forgiveness cannot hold. What time can hold is transformation. Healing. Peace. If you are trapped, in fear, in silence, in someone else's cruelty, please remember this: there is always a break in the fence somewhere. There is always a storm that loosens the nails. There is always a path back to yourself. My dear ones who stayed with me through this entire memory, thank you. Truly. If my story touched you, please subscribe and hit the bell. It helps me reach someone out there who might need to hear that dawn does come. And leave the word freedom in the comments so I know you made it to the end. May God bless you, wherever you are. And remember, even after the darkest storm, the sun finds its way back. I am living proof of that.